In the vast expanse of the Milky Way galaxy, countless stars twinkled like diamonds on black velvet. Among these stars, thousands of alien races lived and thrived. But one race stood above all others, the Zarthax Empire. The Zarthax were tall, blue-skinned beings with 4 arms and large, wise eyes. They had ruled the galaxy for over 10,000 years. Their spaceships could jump across the galaxy in the blink of an eye. Their weapons could destroy entire planets. Their computers could think faster than 1,000,000 brains put together. At the head of this mighty empire sat Emperor June. He was old, even by Zarthax standards, having ruled for over 500 years. His skin was a deep navy blue, and his white hair flowed down his back like a river of starlight. Emperor June sat on his floating throne in the imperial palace on the Zarthax homeworld, Zarthax Prime. "Your Majesty," a young Zarthax named Minsu bowed low before the throne. "The latest reports from our outer colonies have arrived." Emperor June nodded slowly, his large eyes blinking. "Speak, young one. What news do you bring?" Minsu stood up straight, all 4 of his hands clutching a glowing datapad. "The Frosians in the Andromeda Arm have paid their taxes in full. The Blix rebellion in the Orion sector has been crushed. And—" he paused, looking nervous. "Go on," Emperor June urged. "And we've received another transmission from that backwater planet in Sector 8477, the one called Earth." Emperor June sighed, a sound like wind whistling through ancient trees. "What do those primitives want now?" Minsu cleared his throat. "They're asking, again, to join the Galactic Council." The Emperor laughed, a booming sound that echoed through the massive throne room. "Ridiculous. They can barely reach their own moon. What could they possibly offer the galaxy?" As if to emphasize his point, a hologram appeared in the center of the room. It showed a blue and green planet, surrounded by primitive satellites and space junk. This was Earth, home to the species known as humans. Meanwhile, on that very planet, in a tall building in a city called New York, another meeting was taking place. The United Nations Security Council was in session, and the topic was, once again, Earth's place in the galaxy. UN Secretary General Minji stood at the podium, her dark hair neatly tied back, her suit crisp and professional. "Ladies and gentlemen," she said, her voice firm and clear, "we have received yet another rejection from the Zarthax Empire. They continue to deny us a seat on the Galactic Council." Angry murmurs filled the room. The representatives from various countries shook their heads in frustration. "This is outrageous," the American representative shouted. "We've proven we can travel in space. We've made contact with alien races. What more do they want?" Minji held up a hand for silence. "I understand your frustration, but the fact remains that compared to the Zarthax and other advanced races, we are still limited in our capabilities." "So what do we do?" asked the Chinese representative. "Give up. Accept that we'll always be seen as galactic backwater." Minji shook her head. "No, we keep pushing forward. We continue to advance our technology, and we look for opportunities to prove our worth to the galactic community." As the meeting continued on Earth, back on Zarthax Prime, Emperor June was wrapping up his daily briefing. "Keep an eye on those humans," he told Minsu. "They're persistent, I'll give them that. But they're no threat to us. Not now, not ever." Minsu bowed again. "As you wish, Your Majesty." As the young Zarthax left the throne room, Emperor June turned his gaze to the stars visible through the palace's crystal dome. Out there, among those twinkling lights, the Zarthax Empire reigned supreme. Thousands of races bowed to their will. Countless planets paid them tribute. And on one tiny, insignificant world called Earth, a species called humans dreamed of the stars. Little did either the mighty Zarthax or the ambitious humans know that the galaxy was about to change forever. A storm was brewing, one that would shake the very foundations of the Zarthax Empire and thrust humanity onto the galactic stage in a way no one could have predicted. But for now, the galaxy continued as it had for millennia. The Zarthax ruled, the other races obeyed, and Earth watched the skies, waiting for its chance to prove itself. Deep in the blackness of space, far beyond the edges of the Zarthax Empire, something stirred. It was ancient, older than the stars themselves, and it was waking up. On the Zarthax homeworld, in a tall building filled with blinking lights and humming machines, Chief Scientist Sungo frowned at his computer screen. He was a younger Zarthax, his blue skin smooth, and his 4 eyes sharp with intelligence. "This can't be right," he muttered, tapping the screen with one of his 4 hands. His assistant, a small green alien named Glix, looked up from her own work. "What's wrong, Chief?" Sungo pointed at the screen. "Look at these readings from our deep space probes. They're picking up some kind of energy. But it's like nothing we've ever seen before." Glix squinted at the numbers and charts. "Maybe the probes are broken." Sungo shook his head. "No, I've checked. All 5 probes in that sector are showing the same thing. Whatever this is, it's real. And it's big." Meanwhile, in another part of the galaxy, Admiral Yuma stood on the bridge of her massive warship, the Star Crusher. She was tall, even for a Zarthax, with battle scars crisscrossing her dark blue skin. "Report," she barked at her crew. A young officer saluted with all 4 arms. "Admiral, we're picking up strange energy readings from Sector 9. It matches the alert from High Command." Yunha nodded. "Set a course for Sector 9. Maximum speed." As the Star Crusher and its fleet jumped into hyperspace, back on Earth, life went on as usual. People went to work, children went to school, and scientists continued their research into space travel. In a secret underground lab in Seoul, Dr. Juwoo peered into a microscope. She was studying a new type of metal, one that might revolutionize spacecraft design. Suddenly, her computer beeped. Juwoo looked up, pushing her glasses back up her nose. On her screen was a message from one of Earth's deep space listening posts. It showed a strange spike in energy readings from a distant part of space. "Huh," Juwoo said to herself. "That's odd." Little did she know, those same energy readings were causing panic across the galaxy. On the Galactic Council space station, representatives from 100 different alien races argued loudly. Taiyang, the Zarthax representative, tried to calm them down. "Please, everyone," he shouted, his voice booming through the chamber. "We understand your concerns. The Zarthax Empire is sending its best fleet to investigate these strange readings." A tentacled alien waved its limbs angrily. "But what if it's not enough? What if this is a threat to the whole galaxy?" Before Taiyang could answer, the chamber's main screen lit up. It showed Admiral Yunha's face, her expression grim. "Galactic Council," she said, her voice crackling with static. "We've arrived at the source of the energy readings. And it's worse than we thought." The screen changed, showing a view from the Star Crusher's cameras. In the darkness of space floated something massive. It looked like a planet, but it was moving. Its surface writhed and twisted, covered in strange, glowing symbols. "By the stars," Taiyang whispered. Suddenly, the strange object pulsed with energy. A beam of light shot out, hitting one of the Zarthax ships. The ship exploded instantly. Admiral Yunha's face reappeared on the screen. "We're under attack. This thing, whatever it is, it's..." The transmission cut off. Panic erupted in the council chamber. Representatives screamed and shouted. Some even fainted. Taiyang tried to restore order, but it was no use. As the Galactic Council descended into chaos, the ancient threat continued to awaken. More Zarthax ships exploded. The strange, living planet began to move, picking up speed. Back on Earth, oblivious to the danger heading their way, humanity continued about its daily life. Dr. Juwoo, still puzzling over the strange energy readings, had no idea that she held a key piece of the puzzle that might save the galaxy. And in New York, UN Secretary-General Minji was just sitting down to yet another meeting about Earth's place in the galaxy. She couldn't know that very soon, Earth would become the galaxy's last hope. The storm that had been brewing was now breaking. The Zarthax Empire, for all its power and technology, found itself facing an enemy it couldn't understand or defeat, and as their mighty fleets crumbled, the eyes of the galaxy would soon turn to the most unlikely of saviors, a small blue planet called Earth. As chaos spread across the galaxy, Earth remained peaceful and unaware, but that was about to change. In a busy office in New York, Earth's top diplomat, Hyen, sat at his desk. He was looking at his computer, confused. On the screen were strange messages from space. They weren't from the Zarthax Empire. They were from other alien races Earth had never talked to before. "This can't be right," Hyen muttered. He pushed a button on his desk. "Get me the Secretary-General. Now." Minutes later, Secretary-General Minji rushed into the room. "What's going on, Hyen?" Hyen pointed at his screen. "Look at these messages. Dozens of alien races are sending us distress calls. They're asking for our help." Minji's eyes widened. "Our help? But why? We're not even part of the Galactic Council." Before Hyen could answer, his computer beeped again. A new message appeared. This one was from the Zarthax Empire itself. Minji read it out loud. "To the leaders of Earth. The galaxy faces a threat unlike any before. We request an immediate meeting on your planet." Hyen and Minji looked at each other in shock. The mighty Zarthax Empire wanted to meet on Earth. Something big was happening. Meanwhile, in her underground lab in Seoul, Dr. Juwu was making an amazing discovery. She had been studying the strange metal she found, trying to understand why it was so special. Suddenly, her assistant burst into the lab. "Dr. Juwu, you need to see this." The assistant turned on a big screen on the wall. It showed news from all over the world. People everywhere were doing incredible things. In Africa, a farmer had made plants grow in the desert. In South America, a young girl had built a machine that could clean polluted water in seconds. In Europe, a team of scientists had made a car that could fly and go underwater. Dr. Juwu watched in amazement. "What's happening?" Her assistant shook her head. "We don't know. It's like humans all over the world are suddenly becoming super smart and creative." Dr. Juwu looked back at the strange metal she had been studying. Could it be connected? She had to find out. At the same time, in a secret military base, General Minho was having a very interesting conversation with his team. "You're telling me," he said slowly, "that we've built a spaceship that can travel faster than light?" A young scientist nodded eagerly. "Yes, sir. We cracked the problem last week. And that's not all. We've also developed energy shields, advanced AI, and weapons that can disable other ships without destroying them." General Minho sat back in his chair stunned. How had they made so much progress so quickly? It was like humanity had suddenly taken a giant leap forward in technology. Back in New York, Secretary-General Minji was preparing for the meeting with the Zarthax. She turned to Hyen. "Before they arrive, we need to gather all the information we can. What's our status?" Hyen looked at his notes. "It's incredible, Madam Secretary. In the past few weeks, we've made more scientific and technological progress than in the last 100 years combined. It's like humanity has awakened." Minji nodded. "And the distress calls from other races?" "Still coming in," Hyen replied. "They all say the same thing. There's a terrible threat in the galaxy, and somehow they think we can help." Just then, there was a bright flash outside the window. Minji and Hyen rushed to look. In the sky above New York, a massive Zarthax ship had appeared. Minji took a deep breath. "Well, it looks like our guests have arrived. Let's go meet them." As they left the office, neither Minji nor Hyen knew that they were about to step onto a galactic stage. The fate of not just Earth, but the entire galaxy would soon rest in humanity's hands. And as the Zarthax ship landed, bringing news of a terrible threat. Humanity was ready, with their hidden strengths now awakening and technology advancing at an incredible pace. Humans were prepared to face the challenge. The stage was set for humanity to show the galaxy what they were truly capable of. The Zarthax, and indeed the entire galaxy, were about to learn why you should never underestimate humans. The Zarthax ship landed in Central Park, New York. It was huge, shiny, and shaped like a giant blue teardrop. As the ship's door opened, a ramp slid out to the ground. First to step out was Ambassador Seojin. He was tall and blue, with 4 arms and big eyes. Behind him came Captain Yuna, a tough-looking Zarthax soldier. Secretary General Minji and Hyeon waited to greet them. Minji stepped forward. "Welcome to Earth," she said calmly. Seojin bowed slightly. "Thank you for having us, even though it's unexpected." Minji nodded. "Let's go inside. We have a lot to talk about." They all went to a big meeting room in the UN building. As they walked, people stared at the aliens. Some looked scared, others excited. In the meeting room, Seojin got right to the point. "Earth leaders, we need your help. A terrible enemy is attacking the galaxy. Our weapons don't work against it, but we've heard that humans might have special abilities." Minji and Hyeon looked at each other. Hyeon spoke up. "We've noticed some changes lately. Our people are inventing amazing things, but we don't know why." Captain Yuna stepped forward. "Whatever the reason, we need that human creativity now. The enemy is destroying whole planets. We can't stop it alone." Minji frowned. "I understand the situation is serious. But for years, the Zarthax Empire has ignored Earth. Now you want our help." Seojin looked down, embarrassed. "You're right. We were wrong to ignore you. We're sorry." Just then, the door burst open. Dr. Ju ran in, out of breath. "Sorry I'm late," she said. Then she saw the aliens and stopped, eyes wide. Minji smiled. "It's okay, Dr. Ju. Please, tell us what you found." Ju put a small box on the table. Inside was a piece of strange metal. "This is what's making humans smarter," she said. "It's a new element. We're calling it novium." Everyone leaned in to look. The metal glowed softly. "We found it all over Earth," Ju continued. "It was always here, but it just woke up. And when it did, it woke up human potential too." Seojin gasped. This could be the key to defeating the enemy." Minji held up her hand. "Hold on. We still need to discuss terms. Earth wants recognition. We want a seat on the Galactic Council." Seojin nodded quickly. "Yes, of course. Anything you want. Just please, help us." Minji looked at Hyeon and Ju. They both nodded. She turned back to Seojin. "All right. Earth will help. But we do this as equals, not as your servants." Seojin agreed. "Equals. Yes. Thank you." As they shook hands, Seojin using 2 of his 4 hands, alarms started blaring. Captain Yuna checked her communicator. Her face turned pale blue, the Zarthax way of going pale. "The enemy," she said. "It's headed this way, towards Earth." Everyone in the room froze. Then Minji spoke, her voice strong and clear. "Then we have no time to waste. Dr. Ju, gather our best scientists. Hyeon, call all world leaders. And General Minho," she said, turning to a screen on the wall where the general's face appeared. "Prepare our defenses." Seojin looked at Minji with new respect. "What can we do to help?" Minji smiled. It wasn't a happy smile, but a determined one. "You can start by telling us everything you know about this enemy. Then we'll show you what humans can really do." As everyone rushed to their tasks, a new feeling filled the room. It wasn't just fear of the coming enemy. It was hope. Humans and Zarthax working together. It was the start of something new. Outside, people all over Earth were hearing the news. Aliens were real. A terrible danger was coming. But instead of panicking, Humans did what they do best. They started thinking, inventing, and preparing. In labs, factories, and homes around the world, humans got to work. They knew that the fate of not just Earth, but the whole galaxy was now in their hands. The reluctant alliance was formed. Now, it was time to see what it could do. The greatest challenge in human history was about to begin, and humanity was ready to face it head-on. The next few weeks were the busiest in Earth's history. Every country, every person was working to get ready for the coming enemy. In a huge factory in Seoul, engineer Dae-yoon was hard at work. She was leading a team to change Earth's spaceships for war. The factory floor was full of noise and movement. "Careful with that Novium engine," Dae-yoon shouted over the noise. "It's 50 times stronger than our old ones." Workers were putting shiny Novium parts into ships. The ships looked different now. They were sleeker, faster, and had big guns on them. Dae-yoon looked at her tablet. It showed a message from Dr. Ju. "Good news," it said. "We've made a Novium shield. It can stop the enemy's weapons." Dae-yoon smiled. Things were moving fast, but they were making progress. Meanwhile, in a military base in the Rocky Mountains, a strange training session was happening. Human soldiers stood in a line, facing a group of Zarthax warriors. At the front stood human instructor Tae-hyun and Zarthax warrior Neri. They were teaching the mixed group how to work together. "Humans are small but quick," Neri explained to her Zarthax comrades. "They can get into small spaces we can't." Tae-hyun nodded. "And Zarthax are strong. They can carry heavy weapons easily. Together, we're stronger than apart." The soldiers practiced moving together. At first, it was awkward. Humans tripped over Zarthax's feet. Zarthax accidentally hit humans with their forearms, but slowly they started to work as a team. In New York, at the United Nations, another kind of preparation was happening. Tactician Suman stood in front of a big room full of leaders from Earth and other planets. "The enemy is strong," Suman said, pointing to a big screen. "But it's not smart. It always attacks the same way." The screen showed the enemy, a huge dark mass that moved like a storm cloud. It shot out energy beams that destroyed everything they touched. "We can't match its power," Suman continued, "but we can outsmart it. Here's the plan." She explained a tricky battle plan. Small, fast human ships would distract the enemy. Then, bigger Zarthax ships would attack from behind, and secret weapons powered by Novium would finish the job. As Suman talked, the room grew quiet. Everyone could see that this plan might work. For the first time since the enemy appeared, there was real hope. Back in space, the Zarthax and human fleets were coming together. General Minho stood on the bridge of Earth's biggest spaceship, the ESS Hope. Next to him was Admiral Yuna of the Zarthax. "Your ships are impressive," Yuna said, looking out at the human fleet. "I never thought I'd see Earth technology like this." Minho nodded. "Novium has changed everything. But it's not just the metal. It's what it did to our minds. We're thinking in new ways now." Yuna looked worried. "Will it be enough? The enemy has destroyed so much already." Minho put a hand on Yuna's shoulder. It was a human gesture of comfort. "We'll find a way. Humans are good at beating impossible odds. It's kind of our thing." As they talked, an alarm sounded. A young human officer ran up to them. "Generals, we've spotted the enemy. It's heading this way fast." Minho and Yuna looked at each other. This was it, the moment they had been preparing for. "Send the signal," Minho said calmly. "Tell all ships to get ready." Yuna nodded. "May the stars watch over us all." As the alarm spread through the fleet, every human and Zarthax got ready for battle. They were scared, but also determined. This was a fight for the whole galaxy. The enemy was coming. But this time, it wouldn't find easy targets. This time, it would face the combined strength of humanity and the Zarthax Empire. The greatest battle in galactic history was about to begin. The combined fleet of human and Zarthak ships faced the approaching enemy. It looked like a huge, dark storm cloud in space. Lightning flashed inside it, and it moved faster than any normal space object should. On the bridge of the ESS Hope, General Minho and Admiral Yunha watched the enemy get closer. "All ships, report in," Minho said into the comm. One by one, ship captains called in. Humans and Zarthaks, all ready for battle. "Remember the plan," Yunha said to everyone. "Stick together. We're stronger as one." Suddenly, the enemy attacked. Beams of dark energy shot out from the cloud, heading for the fleet. "Shields up," Minho shouted. The new Novium shields glowed bright around each ship. When the enemy beams hit them, they fizzled out. "It worked," Yunha said, surprised. "The shields held." Minho nodded. "Now it's our turn. Pilot Minje, take us in." Minje, sitting at the ship's controls, grinned. "Yes, sir." The ESS Hope zoomed forward, leading a group of small, fast ships. They flew right at the enemy cloud. Inside his ship, Minji's hands flew over the controls. He dodged enemy attacks like he was dancing. Other pilots followed his lead, weaving between the deadly beams. "Keep it distracted." Minho's voice came over the comm. "Give the big ships their shot." While the small ships kept the enemy busy, the larger Zarthak ships moved into position. They carried the secret weapons that Earth and Zarthak scientists had made together. Admiral Yunha gave the order. "Fire the Novium cannons." Huge beams of bright blue energy shot out from the Zarthak ships. They hit the enemy cloud dead center. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the cloud started to shrink. It was like the Novium energy was eating it away. "It's working," someone shouted. But the enemy wasn't done. It lashed out with more energy beams, stronger than before. One hit a Zarthak ship, cutting it in half. "We need more power," Yunha yelled. Minho looked at the battle map. They were so close, but the enemy was still too strong. Then he had an idea. "Minje," he called, "can you fly us into the cloud?" Everyone on the bridge looked at Minho like he was crazy. Minje thought for a second, then nodded. "I can do it, sir." Minho turned to Yunha. "If we can get inside, we can hit it with everything we've got." From the inside, Yunha's eyes widened. "That's incredibly dangerous." "Yes," Minho agreed, "but it might be our only chance." After a moment, Yunha nodded. "Do it." Minho called all ships. "This is General Minho. We're going in. All ships with Novium weapons, follow us. The rest of you, keep it busy out here." The ESS Hope turned towards the enemy cloud. Other ships fell in behind it. "Here we go," Minja said softly. The ships flew straight at the cloud. Enemy beams flashed all around them. Some ships were hit and fell back, but most made it through. Inside the cloud was chaos. Dark energy swirled everywhere. The ship's shields glowed bright, barely holding. "Fire everything," Minho ordered. All the ships fired their Novium weapons at once. The inside of the cloud lit up like a sun. The enemy screamed. It was a sound felt more than heard. The clouds started to break apart. "It's working," Yunha shouted. "Don't stop." But their shields were failing. Alarms blared on every ship. On a smaller ship, Lieutenant Jihai saw that the ESS Hope's shields were about to fail. Without thinking, she flew her ship in front of Minho's. Her ship took the hit meant for the Hope. "Jihai," Minje yelled, seeing his friend's ship explode. "Keep firing," Minho ordered, his voice thick with emotion. With one last burst of energy, the fleet gave it everything they had. The enemy cloud shrank, then collapsed in on itself. There was a flash of light so bright it blinded everyone for a moment. When they could see again, the enemy was gone. For a few seconds, there was total silence. Then cheers erupted across the fleet. They had done it. The impossible enemy was defeated. As the cheers washed over them, Minho and Yunho looked at each other. They had won, but at a great cost. The real work of rebuilding the galaxy was just beginning. But for now, they allowed themselves to feel the joy of victory. Humanity had proven itself. The galaxy would never be the same again. The days after the great battle were full of both joy and sadness. All across the galaxy, people celebrated the defeat of the terrible enemy. But they also remembered those who had died to save everyone. On Earth, parades filled the streets. People cheered for the brave humans and Zarthax who had fought together. In the sky, Zarthax ships flew alongside human jets, showing their new friendship. In New York, at the United Nations building, an important meeting was happening. Leaders from Earth stood with aliens from all over the galaxy. They were there to talk about the future. Secretary General Minji stood at the front of the room. Next to her was Emperor Jun of the Zarthax. They looked very different, but they both had big smiles. "Friends," Minji said, "today we start a new chapter in galactic history. Earth is ready to join the galactic community as a full member." Emperor Jun nodded. "And the Zarthax Empire is ready to welcome Earth as an equal partner. We have learned much from humans. Your creativity and bravery saved us all." The room burst into cheers and applause. Aliens with tentacles waved them in the air. Zarthax clapped with all four hands. Humans hugged each other and their new alien friends. After the cheering died down, Minji spoke again. "But we have much work to do. Many worlds were hurt by the enemy. We must help them rebuild. Earth will lead this effort," Emperor Jun added. "Your Novium technology can help heal damaged planets, and your way of thinking can help us find new solutions to old problems." Over the next few months, things changed fast. Human scientists worked with aliens to make new and amazing things. Novium-powered ships carry help to planets all over the galaxy. Earth foods became popular on alien worlds, and alien art showed up in Earth museums. But it wasn't all easy. Some humans were scared of the aliens. Some aliens didn't trust humans. There were arguments and misunderstandings. But most people on both sides worked hard to become friends. One day, about a year after the Great Battle, a special ceremony took place on a space station orbiting Earth. It was time for Earth to officially join the Galactic Council. The space station was huge, with big windows looking out at Earth and the stars. Aliens of all shapes and sizes filled the main hall. At the front stood Minji, ready to speak for Earth. As Minji walked to the center of the room, she saw familiar faces. There was Dr. Juwu, who had discovered the secret of Novium. General Minho and Admiral Yuna stood together, now close friends. And Hyun, Earth's top diplomat, gave her a thumbs up. Minji took a deep breath and began to speak. "Honored members of the Galactic Council, a year ago, Earth was alone in the universe. We dreamed of the stars but couldn't reach them. Now we stand among you as equals." She paused, looking around the room. "We have all been through much. We have faced a terrible enemy and won. But our greatest victory is not defeating the enemy. It's the friendship we have built. Humans, Zarthax, and all galactic peoples, working together for a better future." As Minji finished her speech, the whole room cheered. It was official. Earth was now part of the galactic community. Later that day, historian Jae-hyun sat in his office on Earth. He was writing about everything that had happened. His book would be read by humans and aliens for years to come. Jae-hyun looked out his window at the night sky. He could see the lights of alien ships among the stars. He smiled as he wrote the last lines of his book. The story of humanity's rise to galactic importance is not just about Novium or clever battle plans. It's about the human spirit, our curiosity, our creativity, our willingness to face impossible odds. These qualities saved the galaxy, and now they will help build a new and better future for all. As Jae-hyun finished writing, a shooting star flashed across the sky. But it wasn't a star. It was a ship carrying humans and aliens together, off to explore new worlds. The future was bright, and humanity was ready to face it.